Hello and welcome to Rewatch Party, the show about rewinding watches. That's what that means. I'm Zach Horowitz.
I'm Harrison Bloom.
And I'm Mark Green.
And guys, we made it. It's the season 2 finale of iCarly. We made it.
It ended on quite a whimper.
Yeah.
I didn't like this episode.
It had so
bad.
much potential, and yet it wasn't all that great.
Yeah, like you get a setup like the gang is doing a murder mystery party, and you're like, oh, that sounds fun.
And they throw it away like halfway through the episode.
Part of it is our petty shipping jealousy, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. And I have thoughts about what I think is truly wrong with the episode.
Yeah. We're going to have a good discussion about that.
But important to start out with is that my first note, Spencer didn't have a date with Zoe Saldana.
Of course.
No.
I mean,
she was
it's very
busy that
easy to fall into that trap. I've went on several dates that I thought were with Zoe Saldana. It just didn't work out.
I got a DM from Neytiri herself. It said, Siva Ko, rise to the challenge.
And you were willing to rise to that challenge.
I was willing to rise to the challenge. I rise to the challenge all the time. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah.
I don't like that person. I don't like that person that just came out of my mouth.
Well, Spencer unfortunately did not get a date with Zoe Saldana.
He didn't get a date with Zoe Saldana. She's notoriously flaky.
He was catfished.
As we all know.
Yeah. He was catfished.
He was catfished. I didn't mean to say he was catfished like 5 times. I just was interrupted. I was going to continue speaking. He was catfished by Greta, an old woman to whom he gave 2 briefcases full of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, he gave her the first one already, still thinking that she was Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you know what? I already gave you one. I might as well give you the other.
Yeah. Just go all in, with both briefcases.
Like, what do you think the sequence of events was? Because he arrived to the date with 2 briefcases full of money, saw that it wasn't. Do you think she told him to like leave them somewhere? Or do you think he saw that it wasn't Zoe Saldana and she was like, no, it is me? Or he gave her one. She was like, no, it is me, Zoe Saldana. I just need one more briefcase of money and then I can finish my film. I've been playing an old woman named Greta and I can take off all these prosthetics and then I'll just be regular Zoe Saldana. And then he's like, oh, okay.
It was like, she texted him like, hi, the movie business is very predatory sometimes. I'm in with the Russian mob right now. Mm-hmm. I just need, $40,000 in 2 briefcases to, get me a little liquid so I can get out of this bad deal I'm in. And then we can go on a date.
That's how they financed the Guardians of the Galaxy films.
See,
of course.
Here's where I think you both went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is Spencer we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine Spencer, if he were to see Zoe Saldana on a dating app, he'd be like, oh my God, Zoe Saldana, I want to give you all of my money.
He's going to seize the moment.
He just voluntarily brought all of her money. He voluntarily gave Greta, Zoe Saldana, all of his money. And then she drove away and he was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to think that wasn't actually Zoe Saldana.
Yeah. You think she had like she had a cutout from a magazine like pushed up against
there was
window.
like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, or Zoe Saldana's headshot. Just like, it's me. My lips aren't moving because I'm a very good ventriloquist.
It's like a piece of paper like taped to her face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, he decides he's going to sign up for a new dating app that's no pictures, only texts. He read about it in the New Yorker and Harper's like, no, you didn't. I told you about that. And he's like, fine. I'm an asshole. I lie sometimes.
That's foreshadowing. This is the plot of...
Right. Yeah. Tyler just said this is the plot of Ted Lasso, by the way. Banter was the app there. And I'm remembering, yes, he's correct. But when he said that, I was like, Ted Lasso was hired the plot of Ted Lasso is he's hired as a coach for a football team because he's an American football coach and she wants the team to fail as revenge against her ex-husband. That's not the plot of Ted Lasso. But no, Tyler was right, as he always
doesn't involve Zoe Saldana in any way.
Yeah. Yet.
Not yet, at least. No.
That's not yet. Love to see it.
I would love to see Zoe Saldana and Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I'd love to see Ted Lasso go to Pandora. Most of the people from Earth who come to Pandora like aren't super nice, except for Jake Sully.
Of course. Yes.
Except for Jake Sully, my hero.
Yeah. Kiss the sky, Jake Sully.
Yeah.
Pour one out.
Pour one out for Jake Sully. He's still alive.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. I'm so into Jake Sully.
Yes.
But I think Ted Lasso would gel with the
yeah, he
Navi.
would gel with them. You know, but obviously we need a really solid reason for him to be there. So maybe there's a Navi sport called football.
Yeah.
And it's not like American football or soccer.
No, it's not called it's not like American football or like soccer. They hire him to coach their football team because they want it to fail.
Yes.
Turns out their football is very similar to our baseball.
Yeah, or actually their football isn't like our soccer, but it is like our American football.
So he's better at football on
he
Pandora
does a
than
better
is,
job. He understands it more on Pandora. Except they plug their braids into the football. I don't know. I'm not James Cameron. James Cameron's supposed to think of these things.
I don't know. I haven't seen this. I barely remember anything from when I saw the first Avatar.
Okay, but we're not talking about Avatar today.
I think we're talking quite a bit about Avatar today.
I mean, you're not wrong, yeah.
But I think we're done talking about Avatar today.
For now.
Okay, yeah. It's always on our minds.
Yeah. But yes, Freddie comes in asking them how the planning for his birthday party is going because he's very, very excited about his birthday party. And he has made it clear that if Pearl, his girlfriend, doesn't nail his birthday, that's going to be a big deal.
This must be why all of Freddie's relationships have failed.
Yeah.
To put this much, like, care into, like, the first birthday that they celebrate
imagine if he found
together?
someone like a week before his birthday and was like, look, I know we just met, but I want you to know this is very important for the future of our relationship. And she's like, I don't even know you, man.
Look, we've been dating for a week. My birthday is coming up. Like, no pressure to get me something like big and expensive. But if you don't plan me the perfect party, I will kill somebody. That's non-negotiable.
And you're just gonna have to support me through that.
Because that's what a partner does.
Yeah.
You know? And I know we haven't like put labels on anything, but you know, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe if this party goes well.
If you throw me the perfect party,
yeah.
then maybe I'll make you my girlfriend or something.
Steady.
I don't
Listeners,
know.
you should see what Zach is doing with his hands while he says this. He's doing like a little shimmy.
I'm trying to like increase my inner fuckboy, like bring him out. And also we're all Jews from New Jersey. We talk with our hands a lot.
Oy vey. But yes, Freddie wants a murder mystery party.
Yeah.
And Carly's like, well, obviously he's been making it very clear that he wants a murder mystery party. We cut over to Pearl talking to Carly and Harper about the party she has planned. She's heard Freddie loud and clear about his wanting a murder party. Obviously, she has planned a party themed around crows because a group of crows is called a murder.
Someone's been murdered, and then there's just a bunch of crows flying.
That'd be a fun party. I don't know why Carly and Harper don't like this.
Ryan
a crow
for the next
party.
Knives Out.
Yeah.
And have someone announce someone's been murdered, and then a bunch of crows fly in.
Oh my god.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the next Knives Out is Daniel Craig and a bunch of crows.
Oh, that too.
Now I might be
great.
mistaken here.
There's been a murder in this murder.
But it looks there's been a murder in this building in more than one way. Because I might be mistaken, but I think all of you are crows. The answer was in front of my face the entire time.
Yes. I love how we keep avoiding the plot of the episode getting wrapped up in our fanfics.
Getting there.
Yeah.
We're not past the intro.
Yeah,
We did
it's
it!
true. We did make it past it. We've gotten past the intro faster than we often do on this show.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Harrison. We're making very good time.
So,
Yeah,
Pearl, because her weird animal brain
Yeah.
that murder means murder of crows in this particular case, is against the idea of the murder party.
Well, to be fair, she's against it, because she wants it to be her idea, and not because she's already bought a bunch of fake crows that she can't return.
Yeah. Well, she's not really against it. It's just Carly says, like, don't you think maybe he wants like a murder mystery party, which is a thing that exists? And Pearl's like, I think I know what my boyfriend means when he says he wants a murder mystery party.
Yeah, that is a better explanation.
No, they do make a joke about how Pearl can't return all of the crows that she bought.
Yeah. Carly then like shows Pearl, and Pearl's like, oh, I misread the situation. And she does say that she can't return all the crows.
Yeah, that's great. I do love that she can't return the crows.
Pearl is very embarrassed when she learns the truth, and she's like, I guess I didn't even know Freddie at all. And there's a lot of actual sadness in her in this line.
Yeah.
Which is where we started to worry, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started to realize that maybe we're losing our best girl Pearl.
Best girl.
Which I want to say, not to spoil anything, but the entire time I was going like, and I'm still sort of on this page, like, we're not necessarily losing our good.
Oh, she might come
Pearl.
back. Yeah. Just.
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
I just.
Yeah. It's just a matter of like, I don't think this show is smart enough to do that.
I don't know if it's even particularly smart to have a story where it's like, oh, I didn't think I knew Freddie, and then at the end it's like, turns out that didn't matter because Freddie cares about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just as someone, I feel like most of the time it goes in that direction, so I feel like at this point I'm just like used to being like, oh, this show is gonna go in that direction too.
So like, yeah, Pearl has just concerns about her relationship with Freddie, because she clearly did not read this right.
Yeah. And we have concerns because Pearl is a side character who we really like, who's been introduced fairly recently, and we are afraid that she's going to get the boot.
Yeah.
I do think more than any of the actual writing in this episode, and not that the actual writing is great, and the actual writing does give us room to worry. I think the majority of it is that I think like as soon as Pearl was introduced, we were like, oh, this is a one-off character, even though we really like her. And then they started bringing her back, and we were like, oh, we're pleasantly surprised that Pearl is still around, and we always like her when she shows up.
And now we've gotten attached.
Yeah. Well, I think also like we were looking it up on IMDb, and we were like, oh, I think the actress stops being in the show after these episodes. And so we were like, well, I guess they're going to break up. And then they didn't. So we've been pleasantly surprised. So I do think we're really, really just like, God, any moment now they're going to get rid of Pearl, which maybe they don't, but maybe they do. And this episode might be a moment. This episode ends on more of a...
I wouldn't be surprised if Pearl comes back in the future, by the way.
No, this episode I think ends in more of a cliffhanger than anything definite.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Pearl comes back, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Pearl is back for like the season 3 premiere and then never shows up again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll get into more of the details, but they do leave off on a bit of a cliffhanger with our girl Pearl. Have we ever talked about that before? That girl and Pearl rhyme?
Yeah.
Girl Pearl?
I don't know. I don't know if we've talked about it, but it is a fact.
I don't know if we've talked about it, but it's something that goes through my mind constantly.
Our
Best
gal
girl
pal,
Even when we're not recording.
Best girl Pearl.
Our gal pal girl Pearl?
Our gal pal.
Our gal pal Pearl?
Our gal pal Pearl girl. Yeah.
Pearl girl. Our gal pal girl. Ah.
The Pearl themed
I hate
superhero.
everything.
Pearl girl.
Well, we've just learned that when Zach encounters a tongue twister, he shouts, I hate everything, and
Gal pal
slams
girl
his
Pearl.
head into his hands.
I did it. We can move on.
Our gal pal Pearl girl.
I'm very much with you in I wouldn't be surprised if she's in the premiere of season 3 and she and Freddie really break up there.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be optimistic. It's a little hard, but we were sort of the entire episode kind of doomsaying, and I do think if I had to say why, I think it has as much to do with us wanting her to stick around than than anything else.
Tyler just put in the chat, they did it with Double Dutch, and that did occur to me, but also comparing Double Dutch to Pearl is a crime. So
yeah, but we hate Double Dutch.
We hate Double Dutch, and we
don't
like
Double
Pearl.
Dutch.
And we
like
love Pearl.
And I think Pearl has stuck around far longer than Double Dutch. So
Yeah.
That's
there
true.
is,
in
I think,
terms of the
greater
number of
sense.
episodes, yeah.
Yeah. But we will get there. We have so much more episode to cover. This is our main thing with this episode. So I figured rather than our usual chronological thing, we should at least contextualize why we are feeling the way we are feeling.
And we'll get into the more of like the real writing problems, because I do think it is objectively pretty bad, as well as just us being petty.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of like fun ideas that they don't really do much with, but like let's go on.
Yeah, let's get to the party before we start discussing.
They also established that Pearl doesn't understand Freddie's music taste because Carly suggests a disco-themed murder. So they do a discro, a murder discro.
I do like
Murder at the
Discro.
Discro. I liked
Murder at the
Discro
Discro.
a lot. And I just want it to be known that it's not so much that Pearl doesn't get Freddie's music tastes. Pearl's actual line is, "I didn't know Freddie liked music."
Just what a line!
I love her so much.
She's
Oh my
so
God.
great. I love that she just fully assumed her boyfriend didn't like listening to music.
Yeah, but we cut over. It's the night of the party. They are all dressing as various figures from the 70s. Carly is Cher, or as we called her, Carly Cher. Instead of Shay. You get
Carly
it?
Cher.
Her last name is Shay, which you get it? You get it, person listening?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they make it works because they make a whole joke where they're
Yeah.
like, "Does Cher have a last name?" And Carly goes, "I think it's Horowitz," which means we're related. Probably everyone, because that's how it works, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah, of
well,
course.
it either means that you specifically are related to the actual Cher,
yes.
or that Carly has seen Clueless.
Yes.
Oh right.
You had a big reaction to hearing your last name, and I was sort of like, Zach does know that's the name of the character in Clueless, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
now.
That
Cher
wasn't
Horowitz.
arbitrary. It was
Yeah.
I forgot that until you brought that up right now. I didn't make the connection.
No, I understand. I honestly, I wasn't like meaning to make fun of you. I was genuinely like, Zach, I think you should know that what the joke was there.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. But maybe Cher is related to you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you're
maybe it could
related
be.
to Cher in Clueless.
Maybe I'm related to this fictional character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe you were a fictional character who became a real boy when someone
I
made a
became
wish or
I'm
something.
a real boy.
Yeah. Do you know if either of your parents made a wish?
No, I think you guys made a wish to have the greatest podcast partner in the world,
Yeah.
and then I became a real boy.
I did make a wish to have the greatest podcast partner in the world. And Harrison, you're always there for me.
God damn it!
Aww.
You set me up. But yes, Carly is Cher.
Yes.
Harper, or as we're gonna call her, Har Pam Grier,
Oh my
because
God.
she's Pam Grier. We think.
Yeah.
We got a Ziggy Spence dust.
Yep. Yep.
I want you to make puns for every single person. Keep going.
Okay. Millicent is Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
I don't.
Milexorcent.
No exorcist. Yeah. That's
No
good.
Exorcist.
They're getting
Exorcist.
sweatier. They're getting sweatier as I go on. And Mrs. Benson is Eliza Minnelli, so Mrs. Eliza Minnelli.
This is Liza Minnelli.
You did it.
And then Pearl is Pearl Snitchson.
Yeah,
Like-
Pearl comes in. Everyone is dressed as various figures from the 70s, mostly musicians. I think Millicent sticks out a little, but she's the youngest. I'll let it pass.
Mhm.
And Pearl walks in dressed as Richard Nixon. Hey, I know what would be fun for my boyfriend's 70s themed party. Richard Nixon.
Well, she says he likes Nixon, and their
Oh,
response is he likes Cynthia Nixon. So my question is, what conversation did Pearl have with Freddie where he said, "I like Nixon," and she
Nixon
just
is my
left it
favorite.
at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, with Pearl's costume here, I know when we release this, it's still going to be a while until Halloween. But ladies, if you're listening, you want to surprise your man on Halloween? Sexy Richard Nixon.
Oh my god.
Richard Nixon. Walking down the street, Richard Nixon. Yes, Pearl is dressed as Richard Nixon. They all freak out. They're like, but Freddie likes Cynthia Nixon. You're right, Harrison. I'd very much like to see what that conversation was.
That too, but it's also a matter of, no, Freddie likes Cynthia Nixon. He's deathly afraid of Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
They say that he got stuck in a gift shop at like a presidential Hall of Fame or something with Richard Nixon
I think
masks
the
all
Nixon
around.
Presidential Library.
Nixon Presidential Library.
It had like all the presidential masks
in
and stuff.
iCarly? Because that sounds too specific and weird.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Because it feels like an episode of iCarly.
I feel like
yeah.
my one rebuttal to that is I feel like I'd remember the Richard Nixon specific episode of iCarly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Where they go to Nixon Land.
Nixon Land.
God, the worst theme park ever.
The happiest place on earth.
They're always lying about the safety regulations and trying to try to cover it up.
Everything you say there is being recorded.
Yes, everything you say is being recorded.
I'm just laughing because Spyro said collectible Spyro Agnews.
Like
Yeah,
that.
do you have like I keep trying to find classic Spiro Agnew, but I only have
Spiro
like
Agnew.
like the fire variant, the water variant. I have one of the wizard variants.
Yeah.
But like the classic is rare.
I keep failing the carnival games at Richard Nixon Land, and I
Yeah.
keep getting Gerald Ford plushies, and I just don't want those anymore.
And it's like, how many Gerald Ford plushies could one man have?
I do have the commemorative plush of like sweaty Nixon debating Kennedy.
That is a fantastic plush.
That's
Yeah.
a good plush, the little beads of sweat. We should make jokes that people will like now.
Yeah. We should make jokes that Zach can understand.
I think a decent 15 people will find this
gotcha.
entertaining.
Zach and our audience very famously,
We're not alive in the 70s.
The Nixon-Kennedy debate was like the first televised
I know the
presidential
Nixon. I understood
debate.
that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Gerald Ford was, of course, his vice president, and so my joke is, if you fail,
And
obviously.
Spiro Agnew
Yeah.
was, I believe, his vice president before.
I think I said Spyro
Yeah.
Agnew, so Spiro
Yeah.
Agnew.
That's I said it without correcting you, just to make sure they knew that someone on the podcast says. Yeah. Anyway, Freddie comes in. He's dressed as Sonny Bono.
Yes.
I'm realizing as I'm saying this, I skipped over the very important, my very important note that Pearl brought crow dip.
Crow dip.
Yes.
That sounds so
Yeah.
bad.
What is crow dip?
Do
They never explain what crow
No.
dip is. We
I
just know
do
it
not know what
tastes
crow
bad.
dip is.
She says it's not made from crows. Do you
Good
think
to
it's
know.
a dip that crows would enjoy? What do crows eat?
That's a good question.
I'd imagine stuff that's similar to other birds. However,
Are they
I'm
scavenger
not
birds?
a crow expert. It seems like they're both Googling, so I'm just vamping for
Yeah.
time.
Well, you know,
while
I'm
we
not
Google
seeds and
anything.
anything.
I don't know.
Yeah. Neither of us are Googling anything. I was just
Okay.
going into the recesses of my mind to find
Okay,
the fact
well, they
that
enter their
seeds
mind
and fruit-
palaces.
Yeah. Okay, mind palace. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I'm opening up the filing cabinets. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing this. And I'd say that seeds and fruits make up nearly 3/4 of the American crow's diet. This includes corn, wheat, oats, choke cherries, poison ivy, pistachios, grapes.
Oh, they eat poison ivy? Oh,
yeah,
it's not
crow-
poison for them.
Maybe we should throw a crow party.
Yeah.
I'm learning some cool crow facts. I'm sorry, I meant they're in my brain, in my
They're
mind.
in your brain.
palace.
They're in your mind palace, like Sherlock.
Yeah. While Mark escapes his mind palace, Harrison, let's talk about this party. I
do
know
you
it's
want-
taking a while to
would,
get out.
So would you want to have a dip made of corn, wheat, oats, choke cherries, poison ivy, pistachios, grapes, etc.?
I can't say I would. No,
You know, too many flavors. Too many flavors.
that's
Yeah. It's
that's
a
a
lot
lot.
of-
It's a lot of clashing flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Freddie is dressed as Sonny Bono. And of
Yeah.
course, that's terrible because he has dressed in a couple's costume with Carly accidentally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Awkward.
And Spencer's like, "Ah, hey, you're Sonny and Cher. You guys match so perfectly." And then we're just like, "Shut the fuck up, Spencer,
Yeah,
please."
Spencer, please stop. Maybe this is all Spencer's evil plot to get Carly and Freddie together. He's wanted it since they were kids. And
But what does he do other than commenting that they're wearing matching costumes a couple times?
I mean, he does this throughout the episode. You know, he keeps butting in. He keeps exposing the lie that Pearl is the amazing party planner.
Well, sure. I'm just mean like, how would he have orchestrated this? I guess he does offer up his apartment.
That is true. He does. Yeah.
Carly says to Pearl, like, we have to switch costumes, and they go off to do that. Spencer and Harper start talking about how they're using the same app, and they both are leaving early because they have dates that night. And their dates are definitely each other.
Yep.
Remember, this is an app that's no photos, so they're definitely dating each other, and they don't realize it yet.
See, what I don't understand is I think they both make a thing where it's like, oh, we're only free tonight, the night of Freddie's birthday. If they both knew they were coming, why did someone suggest and then the other person agree to meet that night? That's what I don't understand.
Because they both hate Freddie.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah, they both hate Freddie.
Yeah. Also, like, I do understand they initially thought it was going to be a much bigger gathering.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get to it yet, but like they're like, when's everyone else coming? And Pearl said, oh, Freddie said he wanted a small intimate thing. And they go, he always says that, but he really wants a big thing. How do you not know this? And she's like, I started dating him fairly recently. You've known him a lot longer than I have.
She doesn't even say that, though.
No, she doesn't say that.
Nobody ever points that out in this episode, which is one of my biggest problems with it.
Yeah.
And no one points out the fact that like what he's saying means the opposite of what he means. And communication is very important in a relationship.
Yeah.
Freddie is bad at this.
Freddie is the worst at this.
Maybe that's why he's divorced.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they expected there were going to be a lot more people. But here's the thing. Spencer is slipping out early from a party that's taking place at his home. I understand, like, I guess his sister's there, but he's like, anyway, this is going to be a huge bash. I can slip out unnoticed and just leave all these strangers alone in my apartment.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
Odd decision making on Spencer's part.
Also, like, you imagine Spencer's a person who's like, and if the date goes well, and it's like, you're going to take him back to your apartment that has a party going on.
Yeah. Join the party. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I hope you like the 70s.
But anyway, now Carly and Pearl come back. They've switched. Pearl is now Cher, but Carly has borrowed Freddie's Saturday Night Fever John Travolta costume.
He has a Saturday Night Fever John Travolta
he just
costume.
has it.
I love
he just has it lying around.
Yeah,
love
he just has it lying around. Wears it on Saturdays for the Night Fever. And this is when they find out that Pearl hasn't invited anyone else because Harper and Spencer are like, well, now we can't leave because there are only 7 of us, so 2 people can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to play the murder game, the murder mystery game. They're assigned their roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have everyone like pick up a card, and that's like the role that they are, which there's a problem with this that we see eventually, but yeah.
My favorite joke here is that Spencer's character is a famous painter turned restaurateur, and he's like, I can't connect with this at all. It's a good joke. I thought that was a good joke.
I love that. That was a good joke. That was a
His
great
character's
one.
literally just Spencer.
Yeah, Freddie is the detective. And
nice.
I think I said out loud, is Carly, or I said, are Carly and Freddie going to be like lovers?
Yeah.
And Carly draws
I think our first
the
thought was, is Pearl going to be the victim and she just can't do anything because she's dead?
That would have been funny, but no.
But no, Carly and Freddie he's the detective and she draws the card of the detective's wife. And Carly tells Pearl, switch with me. And Pearl says, I can't. And she's like, why can't you? And then Pearl has to shout, because I'm the murderer.
Yeah.
And so she ruins the game because this episode is just Pearl taking L's.
So here's my first issue.
Yeah.
It's not my biggest issue. My first real issue with this episode is just shuffle the cards. Like,
Yeah.
It's an idiot plot. A plot that only works because they're too stupid to think. Like, they could just do it again.
Also, like, I'm pretty sure in this kind of game, like, there are ways to, like, assign people roles ahead of time. I'm pretty sure I've done one of these before where, like, we were assigned them beforehand and were, like, told. It wasn't, like, random because it was, like,
I mean,
match up.
Sure.
So, like, you could have done that.
Yeah. Now, here's my thing. I'm not so angry at the game not going right because they all are acting like idiots, but I'm okay with sitcom logic of shit, that didn't go well. Well, let's try the next thing. Like, sure. I'm fine with that. I also would have been fine if they cut to a few minutes later and they've, shuffled the deck.
Yeah.
I know it's not always great to like prescribe changes. You have to approach something as it is and come to it as it is.
Right.
What I think is very weird about this episode is that this is a Pearl plot. Pearl should be the main character here.
Right.
But she's not. And I understand why she's not, because she's a recurring side character and she's not one of the main characters. Mm-hmm. So like Carly is kind of the main character, but also like all the emotional stakes are really for Pearl. Like this should be a plot about Pearl being like, I've planned a fun night for my boyfriend. And I hope it goes well. And then she finds, oh, he's like really demanding about his birthday parties. And then she's like, oh God, I have to make it go perfect.
Yeah, that actually would have been way more engaging.
Yeah, that would have been
going
fun.
And that's like the basics of what is happening. But Carly is the one going, this has to go perfectly. Yeah. It also, I think, would work if Pearl was like, Carly, you gotta help me. But instead, it's mostly Carly taking this all on her own and Pearl just feeling bad every time something doesn't go right. Whereas I think it works a little better if it's Pearl. Every time something doesn't go right, Pearl is like, oh shit, how do we deal with this?
Yeah, and then there's just the issue that, like, they keep having the same conversation over and over again. Like, I don't know Freddie as well as I thought. That makes me upset to an irrational degree. Like, you've known this guy for a few months. Like, take a chill pill and we'll, for fucking sake, will Carly just say it doesn't matter that much? Yeah.
Yeah, like, Carly takes it very seriously.
Yeah. Which I also could understand in the vein of, like, if they are setting up the, like, Carly Freddie thing, if, like, Carly's sublimating some feelings and she's like, well, this has to go perfect for you guys.
That's true.
Because Freddie has to have the perfect party and I want you to be with him because I can't be with him. But they're not really doing that. Like, that's part of why every time while we were watching it, we'd all like groan and be like, oh, are they doing this? Why I was like, I don't know if they're doing this because they're not really showing any like romantic feelings in Carly or even anything super internal. I'm like, this plot works if it's a Pearl story. If Pearl is trying to throw this perfect party for Freddie and everything
including
goes
the
wrong.
jealousy angle.
Yeah. I also think it would work if they don't do the whole murder mystery thing. If it's like Pearl's like, hey, I'm throwing this crow party for Freddie and it's important to me to get it right because I care about Freddie so much. And then Carly's to Harper behind Pearl's back is like, well, oh, shit, we can't like step on Pearl and like shut her down, but we got to make sure this party's all right. So it's like Pearl's even oblivious that it's all going wrong. And then,
that could
in an opportune moment, she overhears that Freddie hates everything. And then she goes off to sulk by herself and Freddie finds her and is like, look, it doesn't matter. I love you, not your party. And no matter what the version of it, that was the scene that I was waiting for, where Freddie is like, look, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I care about you.
They never give Freddie a chance to say that.
Yeah.
They just stop the episode.
I also had another thing that could have worked where it's like, like Pearl does the thing and then Freddie's like, not liking it. She's like, oh shit, what do I do now? And then Carly just like easily fixes everything because she knows Freddie. I feel like that also could have worked. And not Carly be like have Pearl be the one who's stressed out instead of Carly.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like this is a Pearl story. The emotional stakes there are for Pearl. So like it needs to be focused on her, and yet Carly still is sort of our POV main character for this episode. And all Pearl really has to do is go, oh, I guess I messed up again. That sucks. But if Pearl was like stressed out in a comedy way, it could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Also, I demand more murder mystery stuff.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been very fun.
That would have been very fun. It's like it's a thing where it's like, oh, we're building this fun murder mystery thing, and then it gets thrown away immediately, like right after it starts. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah.
Which is
There
another
goes all
reason
that
I was upset
build-up.
they didn't just shuffle the cards. Like maybe
Yeah.
the new joke can be like they
Yeah.
shuffle the cards again and like the rolls are bad this
Yeah.
time. Like Spencer is the villain and like he sucks
Yeah.
at it or something.
Or Spencer is like the detective's wife, and the detective is like
It's Freddie.
Mrs. Benson or Millicent.
I just say Freddie because I'm like, if it's Freddie's birthday, I feel like Freddie should be the detective.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, the gang does a murder mystery party is like an entirely different episode than what this is. I think that would be a really fun episode, but I mean, like, even meeting this episode on what it is, the premise of which is like Pearl has to throw Freddie a birthday party and she keeps getting it wrong. Like, it's fumbling. It's fumbling because she's not at the center of it in the right way. They don't let her be funny. They just make her be sad.
Yeah.
And we're all in favor of sad boys, but not this kind of sad boy.
We're all in favor of sad boys, and we're all definitely in flavor. I'm very much in flavor of murder mystery parties. That tastes good to me.
Oh god.
The taste of murder tastes very good to Mark, apparently.
Yum yum yum, murder.
Yum yum yum, love the blood of the innocent.
Anyway, now that we've explained our overall problems, we can continue on with what happens in the episode. Spencer and Harper try to leave, but Carly like yells at them to stay. She's like, we still have cake, we still have to sing happy birthday, we have booze, and they're like, look, we'll stay and we'll drink and everything, and then we'll go. So Spencer and Harper run into the kitchen to get the cake, and they start singing very quickly. They get everyone in a frenzy. Spencer accidentally throws the cake in Carly's face.
Yeah, he like trips and falls because his shoes are too big or something like that.
Yeah.
The shoes that he bought within his David Bowie costume that he just can't walk in.
Yep. So Millicent and Mrs. Benson go to make another cake. We also haven't talked about it, but their thing this episode is that Millicent has not been paying any attention to Mrs. Benson or helping her make the cake because she's too busy texting her new boyfriend, D-Money.
D-Money.
Oh boy.
They don't call him D-Money in this episode, but we're going to call him D-Money in this episode.
Yeah,
every time
in
he
true
shows up.
J-Money fashion. Well, even when it's off appearing in the show, it will keep showing up here.
Yeah.
Money.
So they're making a cake and Millicent is not paying attention. She's sending dolphin sounds to D-Money. They set it up earlier. It's an app where you send dolphin noises to each other.
Well, they send text messages. They just also have dolphin noises attached to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It would be extremely impressive if they managed to communicate with dolphin languages, but no.
Are you saying you didn't learn dolphin in school?
Well, I learned a little bit of shark, but dolphin was a little higher.
A little bit more advanced. The foreign language courses. You got your choice between Spanish, French, Italian, and dolphin.
Well, with dolphin, they put so much emphasis on the fact that dolphins have accents, and I just couldn't get the accent right, so I just felt it was easier to do shark.
Everyone was telling me, take dolphin, take dolphin, take dolphin. And I was like, I'm taking flounder. I'm going to take flounder, and you're just going to have to be okay with it. And I'll be honest, I regret not taking dolphin.
You should have taken
dolphin.
Really
it would have come in much more useful.
There's not that many places in the world that you would be expected to go where they use flounder. So,
but dolphin's a universal language.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mark, such salty
dare you say
language
that about
on
my
this
mother?
podcast.
This
is a family show. It's not.
I'm
Such
sorry.
salty
I'm
language
sorry.
on this
Let me
podcast.
apologize.
Well, thank you, Mark, for apologizing and revealing your love for Zach's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I said I'm sorry. Zach's mother is a very beautiful woman.
But he didn't say it very politely.
Yeah, there's a lot of like nuance in the dolphin language, and I'm not getting all the nuance down. It's like regional.
I think he meant to say like, "Oh, your mom's very pretty," but what he actually said, or what I heard, was, "Your mother is a whore." And I was like, "How dare you?"
I think that's fully not what I said, Zach. I think you're hearing things. I think you need to brush up on your dolphin.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Millicent is not paying attention. Mrs. Benson is like, why aren't you paying attention at all or helping? And Millicent says, like, why would I ever put this phone down? This is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And my boyfriend D-Money is going to text me right now. And then she doesn't get the text. I did a surprise
All been there
face.
before. Yeah.
Don't you just hate it when that happens?
I really do. We go back to the party. Freddie is leading a conga line. This is Spencer and Harper like step away they go and to like text their dates that they're not going to make it. They each get a phone notification, and that's when they find out that they were set to go on a date with each other.
Yep. Which that's been a thing I've been expecting for a while. I don't know if it's always for the best, but
I think we all kind of realized once they were like, oh, I have a date tonight from this new app and I don't know what they look like. Oh, what a coincidence. I also have a date with someone on this app tonight and I don't know what they look like. And we're both like, and we're all immediately like, oh, so their date is each other, right?
Yeah. I thought they were maybe going to milk it a little bit longer, do a little more jokes with it, or maybe spin it in a different direction a little before the reveal.
I do love the joke after where they just call each other out on all the lies they've told about each other on this dating app. And
they're like, wait, you're Reginald Diphthong? You're not a silver medalist in the 100-meter sprint?
Your cousin isn't Don Cheadle. I love that one. Isn't Don
That's
Cheadle.
a good one. I just made one up.
I do like them calling each other out. That is fun. But yeah, Carly's really happy because she's like, Pearl, you and I, we killed it. And Pearl's like, I didn't do anything. You did the whole thing.
And then Pearl just leaves.
Yeah.
Like, why? They were having fun. They were dancing and having a good time at this point in the party.
But still, it's important to her for her to like get it right. So because she wants to prove she knows Freddie and impress Freddie, and even if they're all dancing, it's like, well, I didn't do this. Carly did this.
Yeah.
And so she goes to the door, and there's like a whole bit before where Carly calls out Harper and Spencer for trying to do an Irish goodbye. Yeah. And then Harper is like, consider this my Irish goodbye. And then she says something in an Irish accent. Again, love Pearl.
Yeah. Love Pearl. Love Pearl.
Love Pearl.
She does a true Irish goodbye.
She says like goodbye in an Irish accent or something like that.
Yeah.
And then leaves.
That was fantastic. What a great exit for Pearl.
If Pearl is off the show, can we have a Pearl-centered spinoff? Because
I thought you were going to say, if Pearl is not going to be on the show, can we have her?
Can we have her?
No, I'm not. Relax.
Pearl, come on our podcast.
Can we have our own Pearl?
No, we cannot have our own Pearl. Pearl is a person.
Yeah. I want a Pearl spinoff because I love me some Pearl.
I love her.
Yeah.
Pearl is like one of those characters where it's like a lot of those just small jokes that she makes just hit so hard.
I could do a TV show about Pearl being an animal therapist.
Yeah.
Or veterinarian. What was it?
She's a very fun character, and the actress has a lot of charisma in playing her playing her. It's very good. But Freddie sees that Pearl is left and is like, what did Pearl leave? That would ruin the party. And Carly says, no, it's part of the mystery. It's the case of the missing Pearl.
Yeah.
Where did she go?
I do love that Freddie fully buys this. It's very in character.
He also asks if the old characters are still in play. He has to know if his brother is still dead, and he's carrying that grief with him.
Yeah.
But yes, he asks, where did Pearl go? And Carly's like, well, what do you think? There are clues everywhere. And Freddie, this brings us to maybe my favorite, or is bringing us to maybe my favorite line of the episode. And everyone listening, you'll see why it was my favorite in a moment, because Freddie's doing the math and he's like, okay, there are all these crows here. That's weird. Let's see. Crows are birds. Birds fly.
Yes.
Birds fly into Spencer's studio where he always leaves the window open. That's where Pearl must have gone. And Spencer, bless his heart, says, well, I only leave the window open because I'm always trying to see if I can spot Frasier's apartment.
Oh my God. Yes.
Frasier.
Frasier.
It had to happen eventually. They both take place in Seattle.
I had to reference Frasier like 5 times, or the fact that Frasier takes place in Seattle like 5 times before iCarly did. But thank God they did. They did it for me. This was for me.
They did it for
was
you
great.
specifically.
It was amazing. It was
watched Rewatch
quite
Party.
stylish. Frasier says that in the outro.
Quite stylish.
Mercy. Also very important for you to know, not part of the episode, but important for everyone listening to know. I was writing my notes, as I always do. Mm-hmm. Tyler made a joke about me furiously scribbling that they mentioned Frasier. Then Zach made a joke about me writing Frasier in all caps. And I just want all of you to know, I did not write Frasier in all caps. I wrote Frasier 3 times in all caps. And I started doing it before Zach made that joke.
Yeah. I know you so well. I know you better than Curly knows Freddie.
Yep.
That's right.
But there's a scene, we go back to Mrs. Benson and Millicent. Millicent is bummed out that D-Money has forgotten about her, and Mrs. Benson explains that like she can't pin all her happiness on him. She says your happiness or sadness is only controlled by you, and it's a nice little moment. And then Millicent does get a response from D-Money, who apparently was helping his grandfather, and that's why he couldn't respond. But now Millicent is gonna wait to get back to him and frost the cake instead. And it's nice. It's a nice little scene for the two of them, I thought. Not super funny or anything, but just like good to give them a scene.
Yeah, sure. It was good. It was heartwarming.
Yeah, but we come back for the ending of the episode. Carly tells Freddie that Pearl left, and Freddie is angry. Why did she leave? And Carly says, you know, or I think Carly has a little like outburst at him, and she says like, what? It's I did this. I planned this whole party, and now it's my job to keep Pearl here too. Yeah. And Freddie's like, you planned the party? And she says, yes, Pearl wanted to, but she kept making mistakes. So I did it because I know you better. And Freddie says like, well, Pearl will never know me as well as you do, just as Pearl re-enters the room. And Pearl says, of course, because you and Carly are clearly in love with each other. And like,
I don't
and
like
because it's an idiot plot, he
yeah.
has nothing to say in response.
I know this is when I thought like he'd go after her, and there would be a scene where he's like, look, I don't care how well she knows me. I have no feelings for Carly. My feelings are for you. But instead, it just ends. The episode ends.
The episode just ends.
That's it. That's the entire episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really having hope. I was like, if they're gonna do it, now is the time. And then the credits started rolling.
Yeah. The episode ends, which is frustrating.
At least it didn't end mid-sentence like the Sopranos. Am I right?
Tyler, please cut Harrison off mid-sentence there. And just whoever says something next, just like do that. All right.
Tyler, please instead cut Zach off mid-sentence every time he speaks.
Tyler, please do whatever you want to do. You have a lot of work on your plate. I understand.
Just asking.
I try to only say cut things when I really mean, that should probably be taken out of the podcast.
No, of course.
Yeah, Tyler, whatever you do, just don't do anything like,
this episode is a little sad, and I think that makes for a very good sad boy of the week.
Yep. I have a nominee. I have a nominee in mind, and I will at least start giving my case with 2 words, and my nominee is Pearl, and those words are Crow Party.
There we go. Yeah,
Crow Party. I have another 2 words, Mark, that I can add on as well.
Yeah,
Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. I have another 2 words for you, but one is the same as one of my previous words. Crow Dip.
Crow Dip. I have another 2 words.
Yep.
Imagine Dragons. When she's talking about Freddie's music taste, she says, I didn't even know he liked music. I played Imagine Dragons once and he didn't even tap his foot. I love that line so much.
I love Pearl so much.
I love Pearl.
I also love just her confidence in when Carly's like, well, maybe he meant like a murder mystery party, like I think people do. I loved Pearl's confidence in knowing, Carly, I think I know what he meant, and he meant a party themed around crows.
Obviously.
Oh god, that's wonderful. I do think Pearl's a very strong contender. I do think it's also worth mentioning. I say Harper as well, but mostly Spencer, because I think they have the same case, but with the whole like, I think first of all the whole Zoe Saldana thing for Spencer.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana.
Second of all, his,
giving away 2 briefcases of cash.
Yes. Second of all, his whole thing with the dating app and dating Harper and lying on his profile and saying that he was like related to Don Cheadle and all that other stuff. Number 3, his David Bowie costume with his shoes that are way too big for him that he bought. I think he said he bought them when he was like dating a WNBA player who then broke up with him because he bought those shoes. And he wears them again and he can't walk in them, which leads to him tripping with the cake, which goes right into Carly's face.
That's right. We forgot about that moment. That was pretty funny.
So that's why I'm like, I could say Harper, but I think Spencer has like the same story, but more.
Yeah, Spencer I think is definitely a good contender. My vote's still going to Pearl.
I think
my vote's still going to Pearl as well.
Yeah, she has enough sadness to really push her over the edge here. And if this is the last time we get to nominate her, I'm glad, because yay, Pearl.
Yep.
We love Pearl, but she needs something, or we love Pearl. We don't want to see her leave.
She needs her own spinoff where she like moves to the big city, meets a kooky cast of characters, and she's trying to make it on her own.
Yeah.
Yes. Please. So that does it for Sad Boy of the Week for the last episode of iCarly. Guys, we made it. We made it to the end of iCarly, season 2.
Yay!
Hooray!
And now I know what you're wondering, dear viewer. Where are we gonna go next?
And is that the sound of denim and movies starring Keanu Reeves, I hear?
Do tell.
Please explain more about this sound you're hearing.
I think that's the faint jingle of the decade of the 1990s.
Does that mean that we're tackling a show that's actually coming out right now?
Correct.
Look at us being topical.
Our next show is going to be That 90s Show, coming to Netflix probably by the time this episode is coming out, but not quite yet as of recording.
Yay!
Awesome. This sounds
great.
Look
at us being topical and covering a show as it comes out. I mean, I guess we did that with iCarly, but...
We found something perfect for our brand the week that we finished iCarly. This is great.
It's a Netflix reboot of a beloved sitcom.
Yeah.
It is, to my understanding, basically the same premise again, but with the new generation. It's Fuller House all over again.
Yep.
I'm excited. You should be excited. It's That 90s Show, baby.
And I have not seen That 70s Show that much, so I am hype as hell. Let's do this.
So yeah, get excited for that. And our fun little preview episode in between next week, or in 2 weeks from now, because we're doing it bi-weekly, is going to be, we're watching the first episode of That 70s Show, but also the first episode of British That 70s Show, also known as Days Like These.
Yep, we're watching Days Like These, the British remake of That 70s Show, because why give you one version of an episode when we can give you 2? I think it's going to be a lot of fun to compare and contrast them. Tune in next week and keep tuning in for That 90s Show coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. And with that concludes another episode of Rewatch Party. Make sure to rate, review, like, comment, and subscribe, all that fun podcast stuff. If you like what you just listened to, make sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Rewatch Party Pod. Once again, I'm Zach Horowitz.
I'm Mark Green.
And I'm Harrison Bloom.
And until next time, keep rewatching and communicate with your partner, Freddie. Oh my god!